Tom was an ordinary cargo worker on a human space station called Starway Point. His job was simple: move boxes, load ships, and carry supplies to where they were needed. He was not a soldier, not a hero, and not someone who liked trouble. That morning, Tom had a delivery job for a big alien ship named Iron Fang, which had docked at the station. The Iron Fang belonged to a famous alien clan called the Grathas. They were tall, strong, and loved battle games. Tom had seen them before, always wearing shining armor and carrying long spears. His task was simple: deliver a crate of energy. Cells to the supply room of Iron Fang. Easy, right? But when Tom reached the docking bay, things started to go wrong. The hallways inside the Iron Fang were huge. The walls were made of dark steel, and strange glowing symbols ran along them. Tom walked, carrying the heavy crate, trying to find the supply room. He saw arrows and signs, but all in the alien language. He couldn't read them, left or right. Tom asked himself. He guessed and went right. After walking for a while, he saw a door with a soft red light shining. Above it, the door slid open on its own. Inside, loud music and shouts echoed out. Tom blinked. The room was huge, shaped like a circle, with seats all around. Thousands of aliens sat there, roaring and cheering. And right in the center was a round battle stage made of shining black stone. Tom took a step inside, thinking maybe this was a market or some kind of alien festival. A loud voice filled the air. New challenger enters from the human world. Tom froze. All the aliens turned toward him. They cheered loudly, raising their fists. A spotlight hit him. He tried to speak. But a tall Gratha in silver armor walked toward him and gave him a long wooden stick. Human's first battle weapon, the armored alien said with a grin. Tom held the stick. I think there's a mistake, Tom said. The Gratha shook his head. No mistake. You are brave to come alone. Let the battle begin. The crowd cheered louder. Tom wanted to run, but two big aliens behind him gently pushed him forward. Before he knew it, Tom stood in the center of the battle stage. The floor under his feet felt warm. The bright lights above made his head spin. Across from him stood a huge alien with crab-like claws. Its body was covered in hard red shell, and its eyes glowed yellow. It held two sharp sticks in its claws. A loud horn blasted. The crab alien moved forward. Tom's heart jumped. He held the wooden stick in both hands. I don't want to fight, he shouted. But the crab alien rushed toward him. Tom panicked. He took a step back, but his foot caught on a small stone. He slipped. As he fell backward, his stick flew from his hands, right toward the crab alien. The stick hit the crab alien's neck, the only soft part of its body. The crab alien froze, and then dropped its sticks. The crowd went silent. Tom sat on the ground, staring. Then the crab alien bowed its head and lifted its claws in surrender. The arena exploded with cheers. The human wins. The human wins. Tom's mouth opened in shock. What just happened? The tall armored Gratha ran forward and helped Tom stand up. You did it, human. A fine move, fast and clever. Tom shook his head. I slipped. The Gratha laughed. So it is the flow of luck. The human battle art. Tom blinked. Flow of what? Before he could say more, a crown of golden leaves was placed on his head. The crowd kept cheering. The Gratha raised Tom's hand high. Behold the human champion of the first round. Tom felt his face turn red. This was a mistake. A big mistake. He tried to speak again. Really, I'm just a delivery guy. But the arena master, a tall alien with glowing eyes, spoke. From the high seat, the human will move to the next round. Let the games continue. Tom's legs shook. The next round, as the crowd cheered louder, Tom looked around. He had entered by mistake, and now, it seemed, he couldn't leave. Tom stood in the center of the arena, feeling like his legs were made of jelly. Thousands of aliens cheered his name. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The clever human. The crowd roared. Champion of luck. Tom looked at the wooden stick in his hands. He had slipped, tripped, and somehow won the first round. The tall armored Gratha, who seemed to be his guide now, came beside him. His name was Morg, and he smiled with big sharp teeth. You fought with heart, human. The flow of luck. I have never seen it before. Tom opened his mouth. I didn't fight. I fell. Morg laughed loudly. Yes, you fell perfectly. Very clever. Tom shook his head. This couldn't be happening. He only came to deliver a box. Now, everyone thought he was some champion. Before he could speak more, the arena master's voice echoed across the hall. Prepare for the next challenger. The crowd shouted in joy. Tom turned to Morg. Wait, I'm not a fighter. I want to go home. Morg patted his shoulder gently. Do not worry, human. You have the heart of a champion. You will do well. Tom sighed. This was not going well at all. The next round started fast. A gate opened at the far end of the arena. Out came a tall alien shaped like a walking tree. It had long arms made of thick wood and eyes that glowed green. The crowd whispered the name. Gorax the Tree Fighter. Morg leaned close to Tom. Be careful. Gorax has won many battles. His arms are strong. Tom held his wooden stick like a sword. Great strong arms. The horn sounded. Gorax marched forward, waving its branch-like arms. Tom panicked. He stepped back quickly. I don't want to hurt you, he shouted. Gorax swung its long arm at him. Tom ducked. The wooden arm passed over his head and hit a stone pillar behind him. The pillar cracked. Tom rolled on the ground and got back on his feet. He tried to run toward the side, but his shoe slipped again on the smooth floor. He fell forward, right at Gorax's feet. As Tom fell, his wooden stick hit Gorax's ankle. There was a soft crack. Gorax made a strange noise, like a tree creaking in the wind, and fell backward with a loud thud. The crowd gasped. Then they started cheering again. The clever human wins again. Morg ran to Tom and helped him stand. Incredible, Morg said. You found Gorax's weak spot. You are full of surprises. Tom shook his head. I fell again. Morg laughed. And you fell with perfect aim. Tom didn't know whether this was funny or scary. The arena master stood and raised his hand. Let the human champion rest. He will return for the next battle after the sun's turn. The crowd cheered louder than ever. Tom sighed with relief. At least he had a break now. Later, in a grand resting hall, Tom sat on a soft chair made of silver threads. Morg brought him a cup of sweet green juice. You are a star now, human, Morg said. The crowd loves you. They think you are special. Tom sipped the juice slowly. I'm not special. I'm just a worker. Who keeps falling down? Morg smiled. Sometimes falling is a kind of art. Tom gave a weak smile. He didn't believe that. While resting, Tom noticed someone watching him from a high balcony. It was a tall figure in soft white armor with shining golden lines. The figure had a helmet with a clear face cover. Behind the helmet, Tom saw a pair of bright purple eyes. The figure was a woman, tall, graceful, and standing still as stone. Tom felt strange. She didn't look like a fighter or a guard. There was something royal about her. Morg followed Tom's gaze and smiled. That is Lyra, the princess of the Grathas. Princess? Tom asked. Yes. She never misses a fight. They say she has won more battles than any warrior here. Morg's voice lowered. But she has never smiled. Not even once. Tom watched Lyra. Her eyes stayed on him for a long time. Then, without a word, she turned and walked away. Tom felt a chill in his chest. What does she want with me? Tom whispered. Morg gave a deep laugh. Who knows? Maybe you interest her. Tom shook his head. I'm just a cargo worker. I don't belong here. Morg nodded. Sometimes the stars choose for us. Tom leaned back in his chair, looking up at the high ceiling of the resting hall. He had come here by mistake. He had fought to battles by accident, and somehow he had won both. Now, a princess was watching him. Tom didn't know if this was a dream or the biggest mistake of his life. But one thing was clear. He wasn't getting out of the blood arena anytime soon. The next morning, Tom woke up in a soft bed inside the guest chamber of the arena. He looked around at the golden walls and shining lights. This still feels like a dream, he whispered. But it wasn't a dream. He really was inside the blood. arena, and somehow he had won to rounds by falling over his own feet. Morg, the tall Gratha who called himself Tom's friend, entered the room with a big smile. "Good morning, champion of luck," Morg said. Tom sat up and rubbed his eyes. "Morg, I'm not a champion. I don't even know how to fight." Morg shook his head with a laugh. "Your heart is strong, Tom. That is why you win." Tom gave a small smile. "I think I'm just good at falling down." Morg handed him a light metal chest plate. It is your champion's armor." Tom held it. It felt soft and smooth, nothing like the heavy armor he had seen on other fighters. "Is this for battle?" he asked. Morg nodded. "It will protect your heart and your courage." Tom put it on. It fit perfectly. Soon, Tom stood again on the wide stone stage of the blood arena. The crowd cheered louder than ever. The human, the clever human, the champion of heart. Tom waved weakly. His heart thumped in his chest. He looked across the stage. This time, his opponent was a huge alien with blue skin and forearms. It carried the soft training sticks and moved with fast, light steps. The announcer shouted, "Jarnik the Swift, master of blades." Tom whispered to himself, "I'm done for." The horn sounded. Jarnik rushed forward, spinning his sticks in the air. Tom panicked. He stepped back and tripped over his own foot again. He fell to the ground just as Jarnik swung both sticks over his head. The crowd gasped. Jarnik's sticks missed Tom by a hair. The alien lost his balance and fell forwards right on top of Tom. Tom rolled to the side. Jarnik hit the ground face first. The arena went silent. Then Jarnik stood up and bowed deeply to Tom. "I yield," Jarnik said in a soft voice. "Your speed is beyond me." The crowd exploded with cheers. Tom sat on the ground, shocked. "I didn't do anything," he whispered. Morg ran onto the stage and lifted Tom's hand high. The clever human wins again, 3 victories in a row. Tom could hardly believe it. That afternoon, Tom sat with Morg in the royal garden behind the arena. The air smelled sweet with golden flowers. Morg laughed as he sipped a cup of blue tea. "Tom, you have become a legend. They call you the clumsy champion now." Tom shook his head and smiled. "I'm not a champion. I'm just lucky." Morg leaned close. "Sometimes luck is the strongest power of all." Tom looked at his hands. "I never wanted to fight. I just want to go home." Morg nodded softly. "I know, but perhaps the stars brought you here for a reason." As they talked, soft footsteps came from behind. Tom turned around. Standing there was Princess Lyra. She wore a soft white robe with golden lines. Her long dark hair flowed like a river. Her bright purple eyes looked straight at Tom. Morg stood quickly and bowed. "Princess Lyra." Tom stood up too, feeling nervous. Hello," he said. Lyra gave a soft smile, her first smile in front of anyone. "I have watched you, human." Her voice was calm and soft. "You fight without hate. You win without hurting. That is rare." Tom felt his face turn red. I just got lucky." Lyra shook her head. "Luck can be learned, but heart cannot." Morg smiled. "The princess speaks truth." "Tom," Lyra stepped closer. "I challenge you, not to a fight, but to a test of courage and heart." Tom blinked. "A test?" Lyra nodded. "A simple test. You and I will face the next creature together. Not as enemies, but as partners." Tom's eyes widened. "Together." Lyra gave a gentle nod. "With no weapons, only trust." The air felt heavy. Morg's eyes opened wide. This has never been done before. Tom felt his heart beat faster. Was this a good idea or a trap? But Lyra's eyes looked honest and kind. Tom took a deep breath. "Okay, I'll do it." Lyra smiled again. "Then we meet tomorrow, on the stage." She turned and walked away. Tom stood there, feeling like the ground was spinning. Morg laughed loudly. "You, my friend, are about to make history." That night, Tom couldn't sleep. He lay in bed, staring at the shining ceiling of the guest room. "I came here by mistake, but maybe this is no mistake at all," he whispered. For the first time, he didn't feel scared. Maybe this was his chance to do something good, something different. and maybe he wasn't alone anymore. The next morning, the sun over the alien arena shone brighter than ever. The crowd had gathered early, filling every seat. Banners waved, alien drums beat in a slow, steady rhythm. Today was a special day. The crowd waited not for a battle, but for something they had never seen before. At the center of the arena, two figures stood side by side: Tom, the clumsy champion, and Princess Lyra, the undefeated royal fighter. Tom wore his simple champion's armor, light and shining under the sun. Lyra stood tall beside him, dressed in soft white armor with golden lines. Her purple eyes looked calm but sharp. Mort stood near the edge of the stage, waving and shouting. The test of heart begins. The arena master's voice echoed across the air. Today, a human and our princess face the beast together. No weapons, only heart and trust. The crowd cheered loudly. Tom felt his heart pounding in his chest. He looked at Lyra. "You're sure this is a good idea?" he whispered. Lyra gave a soft smile. "Have faith, sometimes heart wins where blades fail." Tom took a deep breath. "Okay, let's do this." The ground in front of them opened with a loud rumble. Out of the dark pit rose a creature unlike any Tom had ever seen. It had the body of a giant lizard, the eyes of a hawk, and soft white feathers running down its back. Its long tail moved slowly like a snake. The announcer shouted, "The Peace Beast, Ferox, a creature that fears all who fear it." Tom blinked. "What does that mean?" Lyra whispered. "This creature attacks only if you show fear or try to hurt it." Tom's mouth felt dry. "And if we just stand here, it will test our heart," Lyra said. The creature walked toward them. Its golden eyes locked on theirs. Tom felt every muscle in his body scream to run. But he stood still. He felt Lyra's calm hand touch his arm. "Breathe," she whispered. Tom took a slow, deep breath. The creature came closer. The crowd watched in total silence. Tom saw the creature's eyes, and for a strange moment, he didn't feel afraid. He saw something else, something soft, like sadness. Lyra stepped forward slowly, hands open. "You are safe," she said in a soft voice. Tom followed her lead. He took one small step forward. "We won't hurt you," he said gently. The creature stopped. It lowered its head slightly. The crowd gasped. Mort's voice whispered from the side. "They are doing it." The creature let out a soft sound, like a soft wind blowing through trees. Lyra smiled. "It's working." Slowly, the creature walked forward and lowered its head at their feet. Tom felt his heart burst with surprise. "Did we win?" Lyra nodded. "No, we made peace." The crowd exploded with cheers. The human and the princess, the champions of heart. After the creature returned to its home, Tom and Lyra stood together in the center of the arena. The arena master stood and spoke loudly. "For the first time in our history, a victory with no fight, no pain, only heart." Mort ran forward, his eyes wide with joy. "You did it. You both made the impossible possible." Tom looked at Lyra. "You were right. Sometimes, heart is stronger than strength." Lyra gave him a warm smile. "You showed me that, Tom." Later that evening, Tom sat in the royal garden beside a small fountain. The soft sound of water helped him relax. He didn't feel like a lost cargo worker anymore. Lyra came and sat beside him. "You were brave today," Lyra said softly. Tom smiled. "I was just following you." Lyra shook her head gently. "No, you followed your heart." Tom looked at her face, strong, calm, but also soft in a way he hadn't noticed before. "Why did you choose me for this?" he asked. Lyra looked up at the sky. "All my life, I fought to win. I battled and battled, but I never felt peace. You came here by mistake, and yet you showed everyone a new way." Tom nodded slowly. "I guess sometimes mistakes bring new chances." Lyra smiled gently. "Maybe you were not a mistake at all." For a moment, they sat in quiet peace. Moore joined them after a while, carrying 2 cups of sweet fruit juice. He laughed. "You both have changed the arena forever." Tom smiled. "I hope it's for the better." Moore nodded. "The people are talking. They want more of these heart games." Lyra stood and looked at Tom. "What do you say, Tom? Will you stay and teach the ways of peace with me? Tom's eyes widened. Me? I'm just a cargo guy. Lyra shook her head. You are more than that now. Morg added, you are the clumsy champion and the heart master. Tom laughed. He couldn't believe it, but deep inside, it felt right. Tom stood and looked at Lyra. All right, I'll stay. And teach? Lyra gave him a bright smile. Then we begin, together. That night, the stars above the blood arena shone brighter than ever, and for the first time in his life, Tom didn't feel out of place. He felt like he belonged. The day after the test with the Peace Beast, the arena buzzed with excitement like never before. Tom walked through the wide halls of the arena, still surprised that he belonged here. His steps were lighter now. The heavy weight of fear had lifted. From his heart, everywhere he went, aliens stopped and smiled at him. Some bowed deeply. Others gave small gifts, bright flowers, carved stones, even simple food from distant worlds. The arena workers whispered, the human champion walks among us. Tom smiled awkwardly. He wasn't used to this kind of attention. He was just a simple cargo worker from Earth, after all. As he walked toward the arena stage for the day's events, Morg met him with a big grin. Tom, the crowd cannot get enough of you and Princess Lyra. They call you the champions of heart. Tom nodded, a bit shy. I just want to do what's right. Morg clapped him on the back. And that is why you win. When Tom reached the stage, he saw Lyra waiting for him. Her purple eyes sparkled in the light, and she wore a soft smile. Ready for today's event? She asked. Tom laughed softly. I guess I am. What are we doing? Lyra looked out at the crowd and said, today, we show the galaxy what it means to be a team not just in battle, but in trust and friendship. The crowd cheered loudly. The arena stage was transformed. No longer was it a place for fighting. Instead, colorful flags waved in the breeze, and large cushions were scattered around. Tom and Lyra sat together in the middle, with the audience all around them. This is different. Tom whispered. Lyra smiled. Today, we teach the game of friendship. Morg stepped forward and explained to the crowd. This game is simple. It is about working together, solving puzzles, and helping others. No fighting. No winning by strength. The crowd looked surprised but curious. Tom looked at Lyra. How do we start? Lyra handed him a small box. Inside are pieces to build a puzzle. We must work together to solve it before time runs out. Tom opened the box and saw colorful shapes of many sizes. Let's do it, Tom said with a smile. As they worked on the puzzle, the crowd watched quietly. Tom was not fast with his hands. Pieces slipped, and sometimes he placed a piece in the wrong spot. Lyra laughed softly and helped him adjust the pieces. Here, she said, try this one. Together, they placed the final piece. The crowd erupted in applause. Morg shouted. The human and the princess solved the puzzle of friendship. Tom looked at Lyra, feeling proud for the first time. This is better than fighting, he said. Lyra nodded. It is the beginning of something new. After the game, the arena filled with music and dancing. Aliens of all kinds came to congratulate Tom, and Lyra. An elder Gratha, with long white hair and gentle eyes, came forward. You have shown us a new path, young human, the elder said. Your kindness and courage bring hope to all. Tom bowed his head respectfully. Thank you. I only did what felt right. The elder smiled warmly. Days passed, and Tom and Lyra became the most talked about pair in the galaxy. They traveled to distant planets, teaching the games of peace and friendship. Tom saw many strange worlds and met many new friends. Lyra stood beside him as a leader, not as a fighter. The two grew close, sharing stories, laughter, and dreams. Tom learned that winning was not about strength or weapons. It was about heart and trust. One quiet evening, Tom and Lyra stood on a balcony overlooking the stars. Lyra spoke softly. I never thought I would find someone like you, Tom. You changed me. Tom smiled. And you changed me too, Lyra. I feel like I belong here, with you. Lyra took his hand gently. Stay with me, she said. Let's bring peace to the galaxy together. Tom looked into her eyes, full of hope. Yes, he said, together. The crowd at the arena continued to cheer for the human and the princess, the pair who won hearts, not battles. And so, the story of Tom, the clumsy champion, and Princess Lyra, the heartful leader, became a legend, a story told for generations, about how kindness, courage, and trust could change the galaxy forever. The arena was quiet in the early morning light. Tom sat on a stone bench in the royal garden, watching the soft glow of the sun on the leaves. The air smelled sweet with flowers, and gentle birds sang far away. Princess Lyra stood nearby, looking at the horizon. She wore her soft white armor, the golden lines shining in the sunlight. Tom felt calm but also thoughtful. He had changed so much since he first entered the blood arena by mistake. Lyra, Tom said softly, I still don't understand everything about this place. Lyra turned to him and smiled gently. This place is more than a battlefield. It is a test of who we are inside. Tom nodded slowly. I used to think strength was everything. The strongest would win. Lyra's eyes grew serious. That is what we believed for many years. But strength alone is not enough. Tom looked down at his hands. I won my battles without fighting. I was clumsy, lucky, but I never hurt anyone. Lyra stepped closer. And that is why you changed everything. Tom looked up at her. How did you feel when you first fought in the arena? Lyra's voice became soft. I was proud to win, but I was also lonely. Many victories came with sadness. Tom listened carefully. Lonely? Lyra nodded. Yes. When you fight only to win, you lose more than you gain. Tom thought about his own life, where he often felt small but safe. Maybe winning means more than just beating someone, Tom said. Lyra smiled. Exactly. Winning means understanding, kindness, and courage. Tom took a deep breath. I want to teach this to others. Lyra's eyes shined brightly. And I will stand with you. Over the next weeks, Tom and Lyra traveled across the alien world. They visited villages, spaceports, and schools. Wherever they went, they shared games of trust, courage, and peace. Tom taught children to work together, to solve problems with kindness. Lyra spoke about hope and friendship. The people listened with wide eyes. Many smiled for the first time in a long time. In one small town, an old man said, the human's heart is bigger than any weapon. Tom smiled quietly. One day, Moore came running to Tom with news. The arena master invites you and Princess Lyra to speak at the Great Council. Tom's eyes opened wide. The Great Council. Yes, leaders from all clans will be there. Tom felt nervous. What should I say? Moore smiled. Speak from your heart. That is what everyone wants to hear. On the day of the council, the great hall was filled with creatures of all kinds. The arena master stood at the front. Today, we hear from the human who changed the arena. Tom stepped forward, feeling the eyes of hundreds on him. He took a deep breath. I came here by mistake. I was afraid. But I learned that winning is not about fighting. It is about kindness, courage, and trust. The room was silent. Then, a wise alien leader stood. You speak truth. We must change our ways. Many others nodded. Tom felt hope grow inside him. Lyra stood beside him and held his hand. Together, they had begun a new path. That evening, Tom and Lyra walked beneath the stars. Tom looked at her and said, I never thought my mistake would lead to this. Lyra smiled warmly. Sometimes, the greatest victories come from the smallest beginnings. Tom laughed softly. I am glad I fell in the arena. Lyra took his hand, and I am glad you stayed. They looked up at the night sky full of shining stars. The galaxy was changing, and so were they. The galaxy was changing. Word of the human who won battles with kindness spread across many star systems. Tom, once a simple cargo worker, had become a symbol of hope and peace. The blood arena, once a place of fierce fighting, was now filled with laughter and friendly games. Aliens from different worlds came not to fight, but to learn how to trust and work together. Tom stood on the stage of the arena, looking out at the crowd. Thousands of faces smiled up at him, young and old, tall and small, all eager to hear his story. Beside him stood Princess Lyra, her eyes shining with pride and warmth. She had changed from a fierce warrior into a leader of peace. Standing hand in hand with the human who had shown her a new way, Tom took a deep breath. He felt calm, happy, and ready. "I never planned to be a hero," he began. "I came here by mistake. I was afraid, clumsy, and unsure. But I learned something important. Kindness and courage can change the world." The crowd cheered loudly. Lyra smiled and added, "Tom taught us that true strength comes from the heart. It is not about winning by force, but about winning with trust and friendship together." They told stories of their adventures, of the Peace Beast, the Friendship Games, and the many people who had found hope through their example. After the speech, many aliens came forward to thank them. Some brought gifts. Others simply bowed in respect. Tom felt a warm glow inside. He had never imagined this when he first slipped into the arena by mistake. One day, Tom and Lyra traveled to a distant planet called Zyra, known for its rough warriors and hard ways. Many there still believed in strength through fighting. At the great city of Zyra, Tom was invited to speak to the leaders and people. He stood before a large crowd, feeling the eyes of many warriors upon him. "I know many of you believe that only the strongest survive," Tom said. "But I have seen a different strength, the strength of kindness, trust, and hope." Some in the crowd whispered, "Unsure. But when we learn to work together, to help each other, we become stronger than ever before." Tom continued, "Not just as fighters, but as friends." Slowly, the crowd began to nod. Some even smiled. Young Zyra warriors stepped forward and said, "Your words give us new hope, human. Perhaps there is more to strength than we thought." Tom smiled. "Together, we can build a better future." As days passed, Tom and Lyra continued their journey, spreading their message across many worlds. They taught peace games, trust challenges, and friendship puzzles. Wherever they went, they were welcomed as heroes, not for fighting, but for healing and teaching. Tom often thought about his old life on Earth. He missed it sometimes, but he loved this new life even more. He was no longer just a cargo worker. He was a symbol, a human who had accidentally won more than battles. He had won hearts. One quiet evening, Tom and Lyra sat beneath a giant tree on the royal palace grounds. The stars twinkled above like tiny diamonds. Lyra looked at Tom and said softly, "Do you remember when you first entered the blood arena by mistake?" Tom laughed. "How could I forget? I was so scared." Lyra smiled warmly. "You taught us all to be brave in a different way." Tom took her hand gently. "And you showed me the true meaning of strength." They sat quietly, feeling the peace. Around them, the story of Tom, the clumsy champion, and Princess Lyra, the heartful leader, became a legend told across galaxies. Children on distant planets learned about the human who fought not with weapons, but with kindness. Leaders remembered the lessons of trust and friendship. The galaxy slowly grew brighter. And Tom's journey, which began by mistake, had changed everything. As Tom looked at the stars, he knew this was only the beginning. The human legend had just begun.